the capital of the hill country of Sri Lanka. It is situated on a bank of the Mahaweli River. The city is at an altitude of 1,500 feet. In the past, this part of the island was called the Upcountry. Kandy enchants and attracts not only Sri Lankans, but foreigners too, as it's blessed with a fantastic scenic beauty. Also, it is a place where the world-famous Dalada procession is annually held in the month of August. The Prince Danta and Princess Hemamala brought the tooth relic of Lord Buddha from India to Sri Lanka in 312 AD. King Kirti Sri Meghavarna built a special temple for the tooth relic in Anuradhapura and enshrined the relic in it. Since then, the tooth relic has been highly respected and venerated up to now. Quite a number of hardships, enemies, invaders, and non-Buddhists attempted to destroy it and take possession of it. Finally, it was enshrined by King Vimladharma Surya in the present Temple of the Tooth Relic in Kandy in 1592. When this country came under the sway of the British, a lay custodian was appointed as the diya-kepeema. The responsibility of holding the Dalada procession and performing other rituals connected with the tooth relic were entrusted in him. Venerating the tooth relic is considered a supreme merit for Buddhists. Also for them, it is above all the other deeds which invoke blessings on them. Many explorers, scholars, as well as tourists are reported to have been mesmerized at the splendor of the pageant. So they spontaneously and frankly express themselves as follows. Kandy is not a mere city, but a part of haven. This is not a procession, but a miracle. The copper pole is planted in order to promise deities the procession will be held in due time. After that, the processions are held in the premises of 4 Devala. After that, 5 Kumbal pageants take street for 5 days continuously. Finally, the Rondoli procession travels along the streets of Kandy. The Karya Karavana Korala's responsibility is to organize the procession for parading. Once the pageant is ready for parading, he informs it to the Diya-kepeema. After that, the pageant casket, which lies beside the casket of Relic, is reverentially taken out and brought to the caparisoned Maligawa tusker. Firstly, the whip-crackers come on the scene, paving the way for the pageant. By cracking whips, they announce the pageant is on parade. As the sound of whip-cracking and whip-crackers' agile movements fill in the crowded streets, the road for the procession becomes spacious. Then dancers with frames and a line of fireballs illuminate the road. Then the flag bearers, holding poles of Buddhist flags as well as national flags, are on parade. Apart from them, there are flag bearers representing 12 provinces from 4 Korales to Tamankadua on march. Then the team of sword bearers march. The Peramuderala, in other words, the messenger rides an elephant taking the bundle of documents called Lekam Midya. It has deeds of the properties which belong to the temple of the Tooth Relic. The splendor, the uniqueness and stateliness of the pageant is heightened by the drummers, tom-tom beaters and trumpet blowers. They belong to 4 schools of art. They make musical offerings with instruments such as drums, tom-toms, trumpets, cymbals, and bells. In fact, they make various mellifluous rhythms for marching. The Gajanayaka Nilame is the person in charge of the tuskers and elephants in the pageant. He, armed with the elephant gourd of silver which has been given by the Dalada Nilame, rides an elephant. Fanning the relic casket symbolizes a task performed for kings. So the dancers with Semarafan you see now seem not a mere folk dance, but a special performance meant for royal families. Dancing with sticks, you see now, seems to belong to an art of a certain tribe in the past. Their music and singing consist of very simple drum rhythms and folk songs. The Pantheru dancers belong to a traditional school of performing art in the upcountry. It is unique in the upcountry performing art. The music for Pantheru dancers is generated with drums called Getambe and upcountry drum. The Thalam dancers follow the Pantheru dancers. The presentation of the Havadi Dangya is a type of folk dance. In fact, it is another facet of dancing with sticks. The dancers make an eye-catching texture with sticks and pieces of string. The Nayandi dancers add glamour out of the ordinary to the pageant. They're in Nayandi costumes and ornaments which are in keeping with the age-old tradition. They too are dancing and singing to the beat of the upcountry drum rhythms. Perhaps the dancing with Robban can't be compared with any other performing art, for they perform various types of dance to the amazement of eager spectators. The Patru dance never distracts onlookers. They present their dance before the Tusker, which carries the casket and the Dalada Nilame. It belongs to the rich cultural heritage of Sri Lanka. West dancing is a unique form of art of the Dalada procession, as well as in the upcountry performing arts culture. The West dancers are some of the cleverest and most talented in Sri Lanka. One may say that all the other dancers in the procession are second to them. The Karyakarvana Korala is wearing the traditional dress, which consists of the white turban, the white jacket, and the white cloth. The Nagasingham Orchestra has become a part of the pageant because of the influence of Hinduism. Anyhow, its contribution to the grandeur of the pageant makes this phenomenon unforgettable. The Maligawa Tusker, with 2 other Tuskers stepping abreast, is majestically parading on the Pavada. The pavada is a white piece of cloth used in rituals. The relic casket on its back is sheltered with a canopy. The lay custodianship of the temple of the tooth relic is vested in the Devadna Nilame, while the clergy guardianship is entrusted in the chief incumbent Theros of the Malvatta and Asgiri chapters. The Devadna Nilame's responsibility is many-sided. He has to see to arranging and organizing the Dalada procession, administration and safeguarding properties of temples which belong to the temple of the tooth relic. Also, he is expected to keep the age-old traditions in every task connected with the rituals and the Dalada procession. In 1814, Kapuatte Adhikarama was appointed for the custodianship of the tooth relic. So he was the first Devadna Nilame. At present, Pradeep Neelangadala holds the lay custodianship as the 19th Devadna Nilame in line. He is the chief distinguished person in the procession. Accompanied by the weapon bearers, he is majestically walking under the umbrella, decorated with pearls. Behind him, the Vidanes of 10 villages are marching. The Randoli pageant you're watching now dates back to the time of our ancient kings. In the past, the palanquins called Randoli were taken in the procession for the queens. Various kinds of divine objects and ornaments were placed in the palanquins made out of silver. The queens of the kings also were seated in them. They were carried alongside with the procession, but at present, queens don't travel in them. Instead, the palanquins only are taken in the pageant as part of tradition. The 4 pageants held to honor the deities, Natha, Vishnu, Kataragama, and goddess Pattini, were amalgamated with the Randoli pageant during the reigns of our ancient kings. They represent various dancing traditions while securing their own identity. The viewers are enthralled by watching a variety of dances as well as musical offering. All in all, their participation in the pageant is significant in many ways as they make the event more colorful. The pageant to honor the deity called Natha is on parade behind the Dalada procession. The deity Natha is believed to attain Buddhahood in future. On the other hand, the tooth relic is considered the living Buddha. Therefore, this pageant is special. The deity Natha's color is yellow, while his divine vehicle is the swan. Next comes the pageant of Vishnu Devala. It is known as the Great Devala. The deity Vishnu rides a gurula. He is blue in complexion. He is supposed to be blessing the world and maintaining peace all over the world. The Devala of the deity Katragama was built in Kandy in the 14th century. The deity Kataragama has 6 faces and 12 hands. His vehicle is a peacock. He's also known as Kandakumara. Goddess Pattini is known as the replica of chastity. She is said to have been born 7 times. People have faith in her as she blesses babies, toddlers, and women. The pageant of the Pattini Devala is on parade as the last procession. After the last Randoli procession, the Diyavarna Nilame hands over the casket of the pageant to the chief incumbent Thero of the Askiriya temple. He places it in the Gedige temple. The following day, at noon, it is taken back and placed on the back of the Tusker. It carries it to the temple of the Tooth Relic. After the procession gets into the temple of the Tooth Relic, Pirit chanting is done to invoke blessings on the deities. As we've mentioned earlier, the ruler of this country is expected to keep a close relationship with the Tooth Relic. He's also expected to safeguard it without any hesitation. Of course, almost all rulers have done it to this day. People believe just rulers are protected and blessed by the Tooth Relic in return. The Tooth Relic is considered the heart of the nation, while the Dalada procession is a miracle in the world. You may be either from Sri Lanka or from some other country, but please make it a point to come to Kandy of Sri Lanka in the month of August and have a look at the splendor of this grand pageant. It is undoubtedly a memorable, pleasant, visual experience you'll treasure all your life. To harbor such a pleasant, stupendous, dazzling experience for the whole life, you are welcome to the hill capital, Kandy of Sri Lanka.